All right, starting. Welcome. Sorry, let me get in position here. All right, now welcome to Vlog Thursday, episode 83. How we deal with difficult clients and, we got paid. So this is fun, and I have some fun I got on the screen here, so we can probably start with some of the fun on the screen. A drink of water. I had starting to cough just before I pressed live stream. That's how this works. And this is a quote from Dell, and this is just my own curiosity with how they sent all this without breakdown pricing. Thanks, Dell. We ordered some of our servers from them, and it's weird. I just finished off the phone call with them, and then after the phone call, they didn't send it, and I had to call them. I don't know what happened to my previous Dell rep. The other Dell rep was, very on the spot, and I didn't have to follow it up with them. But the problem we're running into is this SQL Server is stupid expensive. And wow, I didn't realize how much a lot of that costs. I don't always look at it in detail. I haven't looked at it recently, but man, it's funny that of the server price of the $4,947, the SQL license, because I had to call them to get the breakdown when I told them I wanted it on there, is like $2,000 of the dollars in price of the server, and it's something they need to run their software. So that's actually what was up on the screen here, but it's not completely about what I want to talk about today. And why am I in my office? We'll start there. Well, the good news is we're really busy and everything. So there's just me, and I'm the only one in the office. Well, not the only one in the office. There's Kyle's taking care of the front counter, and so I just figured I'd do it from here because I have to go somewhere in a little bit. Matter of fact, I got to go hang out with these guys. If you can read that, it says Podcast Detroit, and I'm going to go hang out with my podcast and IT and AD friends. They are awesome. If you haven't heard of these guys, I'll pull it up real quick, give them a plug. Bob and Dave, they run the IT and the D show. They do this cool networking event that I'm going to and going to have some fun hanging out with other IT guys. It's pretty cool. So if you're here in the Detroit area, definitely head over to the IT and the D event. They're just a whole lot of fun here. So that's where I'm going next. So this is not going to be a really long vlog. Am I a Dell authorized service provider? We haven't been. Part of the reason why is that I found sometimes I get better deals not being a Dell authorized service provider. We were part of their program, and I let it all expire and didn't renew it like forever ago because we got mad when I found out I could get a better price just calling them up and arguing with them. So the trick I found with Dell, put it in the cart, call them up and argue with them about your cart, and they take another $1,000 off or give you an extended warranty for free and everything else. It's kind of been my stupid strategy for dealing with Dell that works. So I don't know. It's a thing. So that's, I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the way they do business and the way their system works. It's kind of a pain sometimes, but it is what it is. Clients need new servers, and Dell's been, overall, the server itself has been really good. We're really happy with it. We just are unhappy with the process sometimes of getting it or dealing with different sales reps because I don't know. We ordered a $15,000 server for a client, back and forth with them. They knocked some money off. Then the client ordered it direct. They got the server. I shouldn't say got it. They eventually got it. Dell canceled the order about a week in after they paid, and then boom, they decided to then call them back, say we canceled it by mistake, and it caused another 3 or 4 delays. So that delays all the projects related to the server and the software migration. So we've had problems with them. I don't know. It is what it is. So someone recommended being authorized Dell repair tech, but I don't know what kind of deal with that headache. I don't know. Are there any authorized repair techs anymore for Dell? I know for a while National Bank Tech would do it, and anyone I knew that worked for them made nothing. And they would pay you. It was a race to the bottom for how little they would pay for those service techs. So I was like, I don't know. So what pfSense appliance product would I buy to need to buy a route at 1 gig? I have a USG Pro with IPS IDS, and my throughput is 250. I want to say, let's pull up Netgate's website. Once you get into the IDS side of it, actually, let me buy direct because I know it'll on their website. pfSense hardware systems. once you step up to like the XG7100, this is going to be the one that'll have the better speed to be able to deal with the using IDS at gigabit. So this is probably more what you're looking at from some of their appliance standpoint if you want something faster. So we aren't really a service provider or anything outside of what is on our affiliates. So when you go to, and we're always open about this, we have our affiliate links for things, but we're not like I'm not big into these dedicated brand deals. My loyalty to brands is not driven by the monetary value they provide, but whether or not they provide a good product. So we don't want to absolutely marry ourselves to a product, because what happens is if you're making or even too much commission off some of these products, you end up wanting to really dig in and stay with them because you're making money off it, even if the product quality goes down. And so we try to make sure we avoid any of that. But we have affiliate links and things we're associated with. We still use Invoice Ninja. We have a link there. We have some stuff in Linode. I have a link for them. I'm a huge Project Fi fan, PIA fan, ServerMonkey. ServerMonkey's been great. So I've been really happy with them. So yeah, Field Nation has Dell Tech as luck of the draw because anyone can claim to be a tech. Yeah. And I'm honestly, any of those work things, they probably are good when you start out there. I don't know specifically. I have not tried Field Nation, so I'm not speaking of them. I'm talking in general. I find a lot of those are race to the bottom of the barrel when it comes to what they want to pay you. Like just it goes on the market. The more people that are looking for work are willing to go, well, I'll do it for this. Another person, I'll do it for less. I'll do it for less. I'll do it for less. So the race to the bottom comes in there. So if you're in a saturated market where there's a lot of people looking for tech work, well, you're going to end up with like offers of we'll pay you $35 to go out to some place and fix the thing for them. Ain't worth my time. Our billable rate's a lot higher than that right now. So it depends what we're going out there for. Yeah, we don't get and play a lot of those games. But swing you back over to the topic at hand, dealing with difficult clients. Let's talk about that. We had a really difficult client that has been a pain. And there is the way you deal with difficult clients is whether or not, I always see people, well, they're not worth my sanity and things like that. Well, everything, we got a price. We're a business. So what does it cost to deal with that client? That price keeps increasing until it becomes manageable to deal with them. Yeah, $35, I know. That's yuck. And one of the things we do with some of these difficult clients is we flat out told them, and you just have to be like it's a very much stand the ground with them. And this is the deal. We have a crazy client that wants us out there. They have a hard time paying. Once we learned they have a hard time paying their bills, they became prepay. And now they have paid us for work up front. They argue about it every time. I don't want to pay up front. Then don't call me. You literally respond that way. Those are my exact words. I don't want to pay up front. Then don't call me. It's not that difficult. They will fire themselves at some point because they think that I am being unreasonable, which is fine. And there is times I've fired clients. We've talked about this where they don't agree to that. I said, no problem. Then don't. Then you don't need to use me. You have to really just kind of be bold with them. And this particular client, everything is prepaid with them now. Sometimes they still spend money with us. Most of the time they don't. And it's just like these weird arguments we have with them. And this one in particular is pretty nutty. They're strange, and there's always groups of different people working there. And I almost want to call the client out because they're so off the wall and name them. They're kind of a chain, and there's craziness all over the place with them. Like any interaction people have with them, you're going to deal with a big pile of crazy because of their practices. I don't know. They worry me because I want to call them out. I don't want to get in legal trouble. But I want to warn people like they're nuts and their behavior is absurd. So that's a whole, yeah. But it's so much of dealing with them is just being bold. Be like, no, this is what you're going to do. You're going to prepay me because you have a hard time paying. And they'll argue back and forth, and too many people give in. I've seen this a lot of times in the forum posts and discussions like, oh, I gave in to them or I did this. I'm like, why? Just draw the line in the sand this far and no further. This is my terms and conditions for dealing with you because you're a difficult person. And you got to be honest with them. Tell them they're difficult. They can argue their way. They're not in like, look, it took you, it took 38 days and how many phone calls to get paid last time. That means you've lost your privilege of having me come out and do work and me expecting payment because you don't do it. So you just tell them that. You just have to be very honest. You don't need to add any more than that. You don't have to add any hyperbole or BS to it. It's just bold and state your ground of this, and away we go. So it's as simple as that, and it's that easy with some of the clients. Yeah, the high turnover rate is with this particular client. We never know who we're dealing with because they always have new people involved. So that is a whole nother issue. I'm going to jump over here a question here. So I'm new to pfSense trying to set up Snort, and after I turned on blocking, it was blocking my remote VPN access, showing port scan detection. Any suggestion to fix? Yeah, watch my Suricata video, and I will tell you all the labor that goes into tuning is the problem. Tuning is really, really difficult. It is the hard part of doing any type of work with those. It's the reason you pay for a lot of the monitoring from these, SEMs or the security endpoint management. A lot of that is, and this is the reason that we don't just throw Suricata on pfSense and go, here you go, you're protected and magically safe. We focus on endpoint security for our clients because, well, the attacks really occur at not just the edge, but the endpoint. So it's a lot of fine tuning. It's a pain in the butt. Everything gets blocked. Matter of fact, I had someone reach out to us with a consulting gig, which I have to reply to. So if you happen to be watching my live stream right now, I'm going to reply. I was really hammered in doing some quotes today, and everyone's out doing stuff. Like everybody's busy and out, and then Slack went down. That was annoying. So there's just a lot going on today, so I didn't get to reply to you, but I will. If anyone knows who's emailed me, I try to reply to everybody's email within 24 hours. So it hasn't hit the 24-hour limit, and it's the same thing. But that's some of the questions they have, which are completely valid. Is hey, I need some help setting these things up for a business where we're starting up. So that's absolutely something that can be done. But that is a big part of setting up Snort and Suricata. You can't just turn it all on. You're going to block everything, and you're not going to have a good internet experience. You'll have a really safe one because you can't get anywhere and nothing works. So it is a thing. So yeah, I have a whole video on Suricata that will hopefully help that right there. Crazy is always a top-down CEO will be great. Yeah, this company is a absolute. I don't know. I will find out what the legal ramifications are because I want to talk about what goes on there, and it's. Yeah, I have a lot to risk, so I don't just want to dump on them because they have been in legal trouble before. They've been in the news numerous times for legal problems they've had, and I know they have lawyers. So, do we use? Yes, we do use the SolarWinds BitDefender. So for those of you wondering about the SolarWinds platform, yes, we're still using it. Yes, I'm using the BitDefender. It works really, really well. Matter of fact, one of the reasons, and I'm going to do some updated videos probably on with SolarWinds, that one of the reasons I like about them is their inclusiveness with the licensing means it's easy. Someone pointed out, well, you end up paying more. I'm like, kind of, but my time has a pretty expensive value. And if you don't factor in your time as any value, sure, you can get it for less. I can go manage every license by myself. I can go buy license packs from here and then plug this in here and then cobble together a solution versus SolarWinds for us is a turnkey solution with checkboxes. And for each checkbox, I want to add this. I want to add BitDefender. I want to add features like the monitoring stuff. Each one of those just adds a few dollars, or adds whatever that amount of money is to that particular endpoint and then sends me a monthly bill. That simplicity has a lot of value to me, so I'm not managing licenses. They are. There's enough work to manage, like the thing I just had pulled up at the Dell, of all the licenses I need to run the servers and buying Microsoft SQL licenses and things like that. So, yeah, that's just one of those things. Makes it easy. Do I use... can I give a hint who they were on what news channel? No, that would it's nothing currently they're in the news for. They've been in the news in the past for shenanigans, so I'll drop that from there. Do you use pfSense Firewall for all of any of your clients? Well, lots of them. pfSense and UniFi are generally two most popular installs for them. I won't lie. I got Sonic Walls out there. I got Xi Walls out there. We don't force clients to a specific stack and say, nope, you're getting all this ripped out and doing that. In doing only these firewalls. So we don't force it upon them. We've taken over a lot of clients that there's nothing wrong with the firewall. It's within support range. It is up to date. It has proper firmware on it. Therefore, I don't need to rip it out. Is it my favorite? No, I hate Sonic Wall. I think they're stupid. I don't like the way their interface works that much. But if it's not broken and they're not really doing anything that's going to cause a problem, especially because with a lot of the small businesses or manufacturing clients, yeah, it's a thing. So it's not there. Yeah, so that's kind of, we don't force them to do it, but if it's a new deployment for us, for sure, we're going to put that in for them. I'm a newbie. I need to learn how to start for IT consulting or how you start. I think I've done some videos we're going to be doing, and I have a video we just recorded, but it's not going to be published yet. Because we're working on some details with a website launch that's going with it. My friend Brett's a business consultant, and we did a video today. And we're going to be talking about a lot more business stuff because I have my limits. I'm a very tech-heavy person and is a little bit softer on business, despite being in business for 15 years. I know I seem confident, like I know what I'm doing, and maybe I have some clue, but there's still times when you lean on outside consultants to help think about your business process and design. So that's a big part of it. We're going to talk a lot about the marketing part. Now, the marketing part is, I can tell you how to fix firewalls all day, but marketing's hard, and there's a lot to it. Matter of fact, something here. Some of you are going to recognize this. This is some of the paperwork, and I usually put paperwork away, but me and Brett were talking about this. Who knows about the red letter? Who even knows why there would be a big red envelope in here? And, of course, this is part of Marvins and her sales training. I haven't gone through it. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't know how effective it is for me, but these are some of the reasons that there's companies like Marvins in them, is to try to bring a marketing strategy for IT. The hardest part is marketing, and there's the back and forth on here of how far do you go, how hard do you push your clients, and where is the line at which you can sleep at night. And we've talked about this because I know people, and if you're in this game for the money and your goal is to get as much dollars out of it as possible, and I see this all the time, we're picking up a client and the other IT company is making it very difficult for them because they really want to own everything. They signed all these crazy contracts that are convoluted, like their client says, look like I was signing for a mortgage or buying a house to get these IT guys. They're providing awful service. They're charging them a lot of money. How do you deal with that? Well, part of it is even taking over the client, they don't own their hardware because it's in the contract. They don't own their firewalls, so they have to get a firewall from us as part of the transition of getting the other IT guys out. And this is a strategy used a lot about a lot of these IT companies is lock them in, lock them down, tie them hard to you, so it's really hard to leave. I like the slogan that I always use, you pay me because you love me, we do 30-day contracts. Really simple. And we have a very great relationship with our clients versus the relationship that some of these people build of sign them and get the next one, sign and get the next one, and lock them in so they can't leave. So it does put a pressure on us. If we're not providing good service, they could leave us. These companies, they're like not providing good service, and they realize legally it's hard to leave them. So they also will never recommend them to a friend. They will hate them forever and say, those are those guys that made me sign a contract that I don't even own my firewall, and I didn't even know I didn't own it. So yeah, stuff like that. Back onto here. Thanks for the videos. A backup solution to use device. We use a SolarWinds backup platform. SolarWinds backup. I've done a review on that too. I have a review on that. How do you feel about Cisco? Do you think pfSense will dethrone the routing giant? No, I don't preach for a monoculture. Monocultures are bad. So if everyone uses exactly the same security product and they find a flaw in said security product, then the internet has a problem. So you got to become some diversity. Cisco has a pretty good overall reputation. I really dislike the Meraki sales model, but that being said, I don't sell it. I don't like it, so I don't sell it. There you go. That's why you don't see a lot of Meraki videos on here. And when I've talked about this a lot of times with there, and we're going to do some comparison videos between like Meraki and UniFi. Those are up and coming. We're waiting. Someone offered to send me a Meraki. They're going to mail it to me. I don't have a date for this. They said they're going to have it soon, and we're going to do some comparison videos. So I don't mind talking about them, but I'm not going to go out and buy one. We don't actively engage or deploy in Meraki. It's not a business model that I really like. Do you have merch, or can I use your logo to get shirt printed to be proud to know? We are working on cool sysadmin shirts, so that's a thing. We just signed up for our T-shirt integration, and here's the thing that almost I need a person. I thought about just hiring a person to do this sometimes. I'm busy running a business, obviously, and then I'm like, wow, there's all these affiliate links and there's all this stuff. I mean, you look at our website, and then setting up things like the wrong click. Setting up all this takes time. Now, more time needs to be put in a T-shirt shop. So we're almost done. Matter of fact, check this out. This is something Kyle was finishing today. This is our updated Amazon store. Structured cabling, computers, laptops, miscellaneous parts. We are building an updated Amazon store because they have new idea lists. So these idea lists are to break down our product categories and things like that. The next step we're going to do is going to have a merch shop and a T-shirt shop. But there's a lot that goes into setting these up. Once they're set up, they run pretty well. Now, the cool thing is I have more friends that are doing some T-shirts and that. So I have some ideas. I'm meeting with them. We're also another kind of not really announcement, but something else I'm working on is some of my hacker friends. We're going to be starting a thing called DC313. And hey, thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you for the $20 donation. Oops. I appreciate it. What we're going to be starting a hacker meetup locally here in Detroit called DC 313 for DEF CON 313. So that's another thing I'm working on too. We want to kind of make all this happen. So I have a lot going on, but that's part of what drives me is constantly having this next fun thing that I'm going to do, putting this together, putting that together. And it's part of it keeps me really busy, but that's, this discussion came up the other day of would you take a job that pays X dollars and sell your business? And it's because someone I think had an offer on their business or an offer for them to have a job. And I'm just like, no. And the reason why isn't about money. It's not like you could say, hey, Tom, what if I gave you this much or gave you this much more? So much of why I do this is it's fun to me. It's that ultimate creative control that I have all the time that allows me to do things. This is what drives me as a business owner. This is what drives me to keep doing this is all these fun things. I'm not chasing money. If I was chasing money, I would just go work in the private sector. I made a lot of money working in the private sector. And so my drive is really, hey, look at this fun thing. Cool. I can just go do this, or I can go build this thing, or I can screw around on YouTube on a Thursday in an afternoon, or even in the morning. And, I had a fun time hanging out with a couple other business owners, and we talked about investment opportunities and things like that. And it's just about structuring your life better and all these other fun entrepreneur things. And yeah, that's more what drives me than like a monetary. But there's obviously I need to make money to pay for things. Worst server room disaster I've ever had to deal with? Oh, man. If you had a customer with about 100 access points, would you route them to your hosted UniFi or have a local one for that customer? 100 access points, that's a lot. That's going to be a lot of data that you end up pushing upwards and onwards. So probably not something you want to route outside in there. Worst server room is subjective, but it's funny that you guys brought this up because I'm going to drag it over to here. If you looked at the picture for the Thursday, this is impressive. I don't know what to say about this. This is This was a solution they had because it was overheating. And it was, yeah, I don't know. It was overheating, so they stuck a box fan on top of this because they thought that was the idea that would work and everything else. Use P for open source. So, yeah, this is, you guess about crazy, we see crazy stuff all the time. And I can't show you pictures of all the crazy we see, but this one's impressive. This is, I like that they had the foresight that they thought the switch was overheating is why they were having network problems. So they bought a fan and stuck it on top and turned it on. Oh, and by the way, it's set to 3. If you can't see that, it's set to 3 because they kept inching it up, thinking, we'll just keep going this, and so. Yeah, that's a thing. So we've seen all kinds of disasters. Now, it turns out this is a managed switch, and they had a loopback in it. So they didn't have spanning tree enabled because, IT guys don't know what that is, and it wasn't enabled by default. They had a loopback, and we just had to unplug this and, yeah, adapt, improvise, overcome. That's how I feel. Unfortunately, this didn't solve the problem, but finding the mess of wires that was further down and causing the loop. So, yeah, the idea in general isn't bad, but it's not. Yeah, I've seen Fiber Ninja. I like some of his cleanup videos. I don't watch a ton of cleanup videos. I know who he is, and I am aware of what he does. It's pretty cool. I would love to do more on-site videos for you guys, but there's just a lot of legality issues we'd run into of we can't just walk in these hospitals or doctors' offices and go, hey, let me show you the back room. They would probably think it's weird I wanted him with a camera. They may not be a big fan of that. One of them, some companies make us sign NDAs as soon as you walk in the door. That means I can't just share with you. They're very cautious about intellectual property, especially like law offices. They do corporate law. There's papers everywhere. They're actively engaging in work, and we have to sit at their desks and do things. So, yeah. So, all right. Have you ever worked at a DoD customer? Have you ever tried to work with government secured systems? No, we do not do any DoD work. I don't do a lot of government work in general. Not a thing. What else we got here? Has an MSP full-time job that was a gung-ho for the first few months. Now it's like getting a pulled teeth for them to do anything. Their second MSP has done that too. Yeah, so here's one of those problems I have, and there's some concept that the MSP business model is the ultimate partnership between you and the client, and unfortunately, what I see happening all the time, and this is unfortunate, just the nature of a lot of bad IT companies, the best way to describe it, that got into the IT business not to service the client, but to see how damn much money they can make. And when they did this, this is a direct quote. So I have a friend, local friend, and he works for an MSP, and he just hates the company he works for, but they pay really well, so he stays there, whatever. The kind of answers he gets from the managers and the bosses are, hey, this client's got a ticket open and they're not serviced. And he'll get a joking answer back from them of like, well, when's their contract up? Oh, well, they're good for another 6 months. And they kind of have the attitude of we only worry about pleasing them when we first sign them up, when they can still back out. And just before a contract time is up, make them super happy because we need to get our sales guy in there and re-sign. Everything in the middle is kind of we're work on that next new client and things like that. And it's just, and companies are really getting burned out. You say MSP or whatever, and they're like, no, that's. So it's like one of those things like, yeah, that's not. So there's too many people like that from the MSP market. There's a lot of bad ones out there, and it's unfortunate because all you have to do to be an IT guy is pop the hat on and go, look, I fix computers, I'm an IT guy. Registering a business is not that expensive nor difficult. From a functional standpoint, like, it's not hard to get started on any of this stuff. So, yeah. It is a good idea to use the Edge router to split my 2 WAN IPs and connect them to 2 WAN ports on the USG Pro. I don't understand that question exactly. Also, do you do anything to help young minds other than YouTube? Yeah. Matter of fact, Tech Town Ask an Expert. I am, where we go here? Whoops. Somewhere on here. Here, let me dig into it further. I do some consulting with TechTown. Somewhere in here's a picture of me, I bet. I think they have me up here. I'm part of their Ask an Expert program. These are people over at TechTown. This is one of the places I volunteer. Let me move my head out of the way here. So this is in response to the question of helping young minds and things like that. Yeah, this is one of the people I work with. In generally speaking, this is TechTown, and I do speaking events. I help and consult with businesses on a consulting basis for free. It's part of I donate my time over here at TechTown in Detroit to help. Something else we're doing is this is the DC 313. That's going to be another free program of us teaching hacking and things like that in group, and we're going to be working with. Actually, let me look them up. MBO Detroit. That's going to be occurring. We're pretty sure. We're working out the details, but I'm also friends with the founders of this, and I've helped these people too, Bamboo Detroit. Somewhere else I've volunteered time and talked and things like that and go to the events. These are wonderful resources, and this is places where I do give back. So that's some of the other things I give back and do for all that. AWS versus Google versus Azure, thoughts on moving things to the cloud versus local. I may do a whole discussion on that. Yes, some things go in the cloud, some things don't. It's kind of varied. Sometimes it's way more advantageous to stick it all in the cloud. Sometimes it's better to have things locally hosted. When it's locally hosted, you own the server, you own the problems, you own the connectivity, versus when it's in the cloud, it's sometimes a lot less expensive, especially with some of the Microsoft Azure stuff. You can save on licensing fees and things like that with Azure. It's definitely some advantageous there. So I may do some things. It's structuring. It's a lot of consulting. There's a lot of pieces to what does or doesn't do on there. There's not like a clear-cut answer. For example, though, email, I always host in either Office or for businesses for that. If you want to run your own personal mail server, that's fine. But for the most part, it's generally more cost-effective just to host that in the cloud, and then you whittle it down from there. Invoice Ninja, we host it locally because we have a server stack. But do I recommend Invoice Ninja hosted for everybody? No. My friend Brett, who's firing up his consulting company, you're going to be seeing some videos of me and him together about business consulting and tips and tricks for setting up businesses. He's going to be using Invoice Ninja hosted. It's way more cost effective because of how he works for him to do it that way. He's going to host that in the cloud. I had to reboot my train today. Runs on Windows 95. How are you coping with Marvin sales being gone? Marvin's gone. We're going to do a Marvin gone video, Sue. Do you have any apprentices hired? Maybe cable insert? Yes, we actually have another guy is probably going to be starting in September. The USG can handle gigabit, I think, as long as you don't have DPI turned on. Do you think actual managed services aren't even a thing worth paying for, like patch management? It is. You need a person who's doing it. Managed services are not a bad thing. It comes down to who is doing that. So that's, if you have them doing it right, it can be a very good thing. I feel as though we're doing it right. We can't handle all the patch management for our clients. We handle all of the services for our client. We're watching all their systems, making sure everything works. So yes, we think we're doing it right and it works well. I don't think some of the other companies are doing it right. They sell them on the fact that they're doing it, but they actually follow-up is not doing it. That's doing it wrong. Yes, you need to keep your systems patched. Yes, you need to keep the antivirus up to date. Yes, you got to keep an eye out for threats and problems up and coming with servers. If you're doing that, you're doing managed services right. If you're selling them contracts and not servicing those contracts, you're just an ass. That's all I got to say. Stuart, so the WAN IPs, because they configure two public IPs in USG, you have to modify the JSON file. Edge router can do it in GUI. But I don't understand the question you're asking on that, Stuart. I don't get it. I don't know what that question is you're asking. Hey, did you talk about what the deal was there? We mentioned last time, and Marvin is doing the thing at the chamber. So Marvin officially, and I'll actually pull it up for you and find it and share it. So what's going on? Oh, they're over at, cool, they're at Revved Up Fun. All right. So let me find it, and I'll show you Marvin's. I just got to pull it up and drag it over. Marvin posts a lot. I got to find the post that's specifically about what he did. There it is. So Marvin is now the official. Let me find the post. All right, Marvin is officially somewhere on this piece. You look at maybe posts or photos. I'm lost. This is the Chamber's website. Marvin's on it now. He's officially doing the Chamber stuff. So let me move this out of the way here. But yeah, Marvin officially works for the Chamber now. And that's where he took a job. It's a mutual. There's no, I really did a video on it. I don't know what else to say. Marvin took a job at the Chamber, and he wants to do that. We're doing something different for our sales process. Most of our inbound leads come from YouTube and online marketing, so we aren't doing as much with direct B2B sales in this way. So we didn't need Marvin to do it anymore. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. And Marvin did a lot with the Chamber because we were doing a lot. He's an ambassador for the Chamber, as we're for there. I'm on the board of the Chamber. So there's a lot of interaction with the Chamber, and that's where Marvin ended up going. They had a good offer, and it was better. It's just how that worked out to be. It works out better for Marvin. It works out better for me. It's a mutual agreement. There's not any. He did not get fired. It was a mutual. Hey, I want to go do this thing. Cool, go do the thing. Marvin's also going to be pursuing his interest. Marvin's a writer, if you didn't know, and he's going to be pursuing his interest in that. So yeah, it works out good for, like I said, all of us. Talk about what else we got? So I think I covered the Marvin there. Anyone else hear about the Ubiquiti LED panel? Yeah, it's been around for a little while. I've seen it in our store. We donated Marvin to a good cause. Sure. Let's see. The panel is sick. Always go with, yeah. We're still friends. We were sending memes the other day, so that's still a thing. So, all right. That catches me up with those questions on there. Let's see. I don't know who this is. All right. I'll move on to this stuff later. Anyways. So, yeah, maybe we'll have Marvin come by and hang out sometime. He's at the Chamber. We want to hang out. We're going to do some videos with the Chamber. We're still active members and doing stuff. And the Chamber right now is one of the sources for business for us. It's not our only source. So it's just one more thing that we're doing. What are the specs of my Zen server? I don't know. I forget, but I can look it up for you. I can tell you in a second here. So my Zen server, we'll go to hosts. They're the same. It's 40 gigs of RAM. And does it tell me the processor? No, I have to look it up. Damn it. There are 710s. That's all I know. I forget things. SSH. We can look at this one. Whoops. Cat. Whoops. Cat sash. Actually, it procs. There we go. Having a brain fart today. X5670 Xeon processors, 24 cores and 40 gigs of RAM, and then FreeNAS connected via iSCSI. That's how all that gets to working. So that hopefully helps there. Yeah, I know Ubiquiti's got solar products. I haven't tested any of them. If someone from Ubiquiti wants to send some, we actually have Phil would love some on his farm, and we would do a video about it. So we may do a video about it anyways. So yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah. When something beeps, I know someone sent me a message, and I'm not sure who it is because apparently I don't know. I don't have this person's name saved in my phone. So I think I know who it is, and I think I'm going to see them in about 20 minutes at the next event I'm going to. Yeah, I know. I tried to keep the beeps and noises to an absolute minimum on here. But I am going to have to jump out of here in a minute because I have to go to that IT and a D event that is starting up here shortly. So if any of you are in Michigan, in the Detroit area specifically, attend these IT and events. I'm going to be there if you ever want to say hi. But yeah, it's a fun time, and it's where I'm going to be next. It's where I have to go do and meet with people in person, not just like, online. Because my wife complains. She says I need to get out of the house more, get away from the keyboard more. And I talk about this. It was actually kind of fun because I went the other day and kind of just hung out with people, and like I took a couple of weekends of not being online, and it's like, okay, that feels fun. So how can you assign every VM on Zen server a other IP? Every Zen server VM gets an IP if it's DHCP, so I guess maybe I don't understand the question. Watch my Getting Started with Zen server video to get an idea of how that works. Verify my GPG. Actually, I think maybe this will be helpful for people asking about that. Let me show you guys something. I don't know how this works. You can find me here. Whoops, I have now lost it. Where did I drag that to? There it is. Keybase.io /Lawrence Systems. If you need to send me an encrypted message, this is a way you can do that. So if you need to send me something encrypted, there's a way you can do it. You can get my SSH keys off of my GitHub. How do you... Yeah, there we go. I don't know, if you don't know this about GitHub, my GitHub, which is posted, I've talked about it before. It's github.com/flipsidecreations. But anyone who has their keys in GitHub, you can get them by going to github.com/username_keys. And you can get my keys to send me, you can use my keys to send me things encrypted as well. Or I should say, if you need me to access something on your server, I actually would ask that you drop these keys in, because this is my public key for that. Is there a way I can buy Cat 8 networking just to stay with Cat 7? Cat 6A, my friend. Cat 6A would be the thing to do. So... I know Amazon sells it. It's like someone's pointing out here, there are not officially finalized IEEE standards for stuff. I just talked about some cabling, and like I see Aaron H mentioning here, it's Cat 5, 5E, 6, 6A. 6A will do 10 gigabit. It's great. So where are my private keys stored? My private keys are stored on the computer I'm using. There's one on here, and there's a set on my laptop. That's the two places that they exist. So, and my hard drives are fully encrypted. That way, if anyone ever to wander off with my computers in some horrific thing of, they stole something, all my drives are encrypted on boot. So everything's got passwords on it. And my laptop as well, especially my laptop, man. The laptop, you go a step further and put the BIOS password on there and everything, because you don't want anyone just to turn on your laptop and get it. So, yeah. Store it under the welcome mat in the front of the store. Yeah, private keys you definitely don't want, because I use, this is the public key, obviously, which means I'm using RSA key pairs with SSH. That's how we manage servers. That's how we manage things through Ansible. So it's, definitely a thing we do. That's very important. You keep those safe. And I had a friend who may or may not have left his laptop on top of his car. And no, as long as they're in two devices, you don't really need as much of a cold storage place to keep them, as long as those two devices are never in the same place at the same time. So the statistically likelihood of you losing those two devices is down. So there's that, something to think about. Yeah, I know I'm definitely going to be late, but I drive fast. And if it wasn't raining, I'd take my motorcycle. But it's raining out. I want to ride my motorcycle out there today. It's the north side of Detroit where I'm heading next. But this is it. I do have to get off here. I have to run and do things and work. Or not work anymore. I'm burned out for the day. I'm going to do a video on just tech burnout, because it does happen. I have fun as much as I jumping around doing all the things I do, and it's exciting. And then it's like, oh, okay, now it's not exciting because I'm really worn out because, you wanted to do there. How do the security of the employees leave with respect to password? You changed them all. It sucks. There is not a secret to it. You have to change all the password when people leave. We use LastPass to help mitigate all that part of it. Things that are externally accessible or where passwords can be compromised, we go through and run through all the master admin password changes with clients. It's the worst part about people. It's also why I don't like hiring or firing anyone ever. So yeah, that's because if we've had to fire people who have access to things, we keep an audit log in our wiki for everything they've ever touched, so we know everything they ever looked at. So that makes it easy for us to then reverse that to purging everything out. It sucks, but it's a process, and it's a terrible one, and it's part of the dealing with IT and security and all that. So yeah, so you have to the same thing kind of with clients too. So that's absolutely things you have to do. You got to change them all the access and everything. It's a pain. It's a pain. So, GL test cables you drop with any throughput tests, or just hope for the best and wait? I have never had a problem. We simply will test them. This is different than certifying them. If you're using a cable certifier, that's a little bit different. We charge extra for that. But no, for the most part, plug them in. We test to make sure all the pins work. Boom. I have not found a variance in cables in that. Fireworks video, not till the next official holidays. There's some laws that prevent me from exploding things on non-holidays. Turns out federal holidays, legal to explode things where that can't be in trouble. So that's fireworks videos might be coming. All right, thank you for all being here, and thank you for all over 32,000 of you I think there are now. There's a whole lot of you on here. It's awesome. And more videos coming, and I'm going to go do the IT and the D thing and fun stuff like that. So awesome. Thank you. Take care. Thanks. Thanks for joining. Have to run. And